Welcome back folks, and thank you for joining me today. Today's video is all about tweeners. If you don't know what a tweener computer is, then hopefully today's video will explain it. So a tweener computer is a PC that sits between your modern day computer and an old vintage computer. So in other words, if you have one of these that takes these and your only way of getting information is off the internet on one of these, then you'll be able to see the problem, because that only takes floppies and there's no ways that you're going to be able to get a floppy drive into your modern computer. And that's where the tweener machines come in. So in a nutshell, my explanation is that a tweener is a machine that bridges the gap between various media formats. So in my case, it's bridging the gap between USB, which will work on my modern computer, and 5 1/4 inch floppy disks, which will work on my vintage computer. So how to build a tweener and what do you need? You can build these really cheaply, so I suggest that you go onto eBay or probably a Facebook marketplace and look for any computer which somebody is throwing out. Normally they come without the hard drive, but that's easily fixed. And I would say as a minimum, try and get something that can run Windows XP. And the motherboard the motherboard pretty much has to be able to support the media formats that your vintage computers are using. So in my case, my motherboard, I had to make sure I had a floppy drive controller on. So you've then got hopefully your case, your motherboard, your processor, your power supply. The other really nice things to have so that you can get media off your modern computer is front panel USB. Just makes it super easy to get data in here. But I'm fortunate enough for this to actually have a front panel SD card reader. Then I've got a DVD reader over here, so I do still use optical discs for backup. And then I've got a 5 1/4 inch floppy. So I can download off the internet, put something on a USB stick, stick it into my tweener machine into one of the USB slots, and I can then create a floppy that's got software on, which will go and work on my vintage machine. And that is how I bridge the gap. But it's not only one directional. I have bought machines that have come with original floppies, and the floppies are kind of precious to me, and the contents are, I don't want to lose the contents. So that is where your tweener also comes in, is that it allows you to back up your old media formats. So for instance, I've got a very old XT Amstrad. I've shown it in, not the PC, but I've shown the floppy disks in some other videos. So if I wanted to make backup copies of those, I could put them in here, read off the contents, put that onto USB, put it into my own personal computer, and safely back up the contents of those floppies, just in case something terrible happened. So yeah, so we've spoken about where you get the bulk of the machine from. I think you can probably build this for well under $100 or £100 in the UK. So if we are, let's say £50 for the bulk of the computer, maybe £10 for a hard drive, the most expensive part for me building this was getting the 5¼ inch floppy, because those aren't cheap anymore. So that could probably cost 40 or 50 pounds. So that brings me up to 100. And then the only thing that I had to add is, if we swing around to the back, is that this motherboard didn't come with onboard Ethernet, so I had to add a PCI Ethernet card just for getting things off via the network. But since this is now in the garage and I don't have any Ethernet cabling here, and there's no Wi-Fi signal strong enough to be able to penetrate the walls of this garage, which are like a bunker, I'm very reliant on using the USB. So that is what a tweener is, and why you should have one if you are a retro PC collector. It's not only bringing new use to old PCs, which otherwise pretty much wouldn't have a use, but you're also keeping a machine out of landfill, out of e-waste, which is always a good thing. Keep the old stuff running as long as you can. And that's it. Hope that helped out, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.